Asher and Pipeman on W4CY Radio.
It is Pipeman here on the Adventures Pipeman W4CY Radio, and I'm very excited about this episode because we have one of the most legendary drummers there is and some exciting news. So let's welcome to the show, Vinny Appice. How are you?
I'm good. How are you? Good to be here. Legendary. Oh, my God.
Well, listen, you've played with just pretty much everybody. I couldn't even, we wouldn't even have time for me to list off all the people you've played with, for sure.
Sorry. I'm sorry. I won't play with that many people from now on anyway.
Right. And I got to tell you that I used to play drums for like 9 years when I was a kid, and I kind of sucked. So my hat's off to you for being such a great drummer, because it takes a lot, and people I don't think realize that. And then I switched to guitar, and the first song I learned on guitar was not Smoke on the Water. It was Heaven and Hell.
There you go. It was meant to be some sort of connection there.
I know, right?
Right.
And so here we are. We have some great news about, kind of giving me like flashbacks and resurrecting the Heaven and Hell, the final, Sabbath version before Dio left this earth, but left us here with a lot of great memories.
Yeah, and what's good about this package that's coming out is, we were scheduled to go on tour again in 2010 with Ronnie. And then he got ill, and then he got worse, and then he got really sick, and he couldn't do it, and the tour wasn't going to happen. So it was not a happy ending, it's kind of sad. So now this is years later, and then putting this great package together. It's a beautiful package. The albums that are in it, and there's posters and tour books and photo album. It's beautiful. And at least this is kind of some closure to that era of Black Sabbath, and Ronnie. So it's more of a celebration now than just the sad way that the band ended,
Exactly. And, I love that you have there's some things on this here that have never been on vinyl before. So that's really cool.
Yeah.
And then, all the Radio City live performances that are on there. I mean, to me, this is like an amazing way to pay tribute and to all the greatness of that version of Black Sabbath.
Yeah, that's what I'm kind of saying as well. It's and it's a beautiful package, and I just got it in the mail last week, and I was blown away. Some of the photos in the photo book are so clear and colorful, and it's just great. So it's a nice collector's item for whoever's Heaven and Hell fan, Black Sabbath fan, Ronnie fan. This is a great package.
Yeah, and back then, you got an album. It was a full sensory experience, which is what you're having here, like pictures, reading the lyrics, all the things that came with an album that
right.
I think we're having somewhat of a resurgence, because my grandkids ask me for the holidays or their birthdays for vinyl records. So it's kind of cool, because I think that's what a lot of kids were missing, is that full experience.
Yeah. When I was a kid growing up, it was only vinyl, and you used to go buy the record when it came out, and then you had the cover, you could see everything, and then you turned it up and toward the back. The back of the album usually had all the details of recording, and sometimes it listed the microphones and the amplifiers, the drums, And that was really cool. Like, wow, they use Ludwig drums on this, and these microphones and amplifiers, because it was a great, cool thing. And while you're listening to the record, you're going through all this information. So it was a very cool thing. So now, CDs, it's hard to see it's only that big. And then downloads, you don't get anything.
Yeah.
Unless you download they bring the artwork forward. I don't know, but it's great on the album, on the full-on vinyl.
Even like in the, I remember I was a Beatles fanatic as a kid, and I would buy all the albums, before I was even a teenager, just for the clues of that 1969 radio show where they were saying Paul was dead. And like, it was such a fun experience to go get these albums, look for these clues, and do things that you wouldn't be able to do today with downloads.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It was such a great package that it made it more exciting. You're listening to while you listen to the record.
Yeah,
and then Paul is dead, but how come he's on the album? He's playing bass,
right?
I remember that. Yeah,
and then I'll tell you one of my favorite ever experiences at a concert, which there's been thousands of concerts I've been to. I remember when I was at the Mob Rules tour.
Oh, wow.
And it was in LA, and I could have sworn when Dio started talking that it was God talking. Like the way it came over.
What were you smoking?
Well, that's the thing, So it was back when you had to hang out, and camp out to get your tickets. So I got there like early. I was sleeping in my sleeping bag to get the tickets. And some dude goes to me, he goes, "Hey, can you buy my tickets for me? I'll smoke you out at the concert." I'm like, "Sure." You're a teenager. Like, that's good enough for me.
Right. Right.
And then, yes, he did, smoked me out right before you guys came on, and it was a trip though. Coming over the loudspeaker, I was like, "Whoa, this is the best experience ever."
Yeah,
and I still remember it to this day like that way. So that's the impact right there.
Yeah,
and so I'm glad that we're keeping this alive. And Ronnie was such a influence to so many people and such a great person that he just I do press coverage at the Bowl for Ronnie, and it's like amazing how every year just people so much support, and I've never heard anybody ever say anything bad about Ronnie, and that's unheard of in this industry.
Yeah, no, Ronnie was such a well, besides being one of the greatest singers in rock, if not he was such a nice person, and he loved his music, and he loved his fans.
Yeah,
his fans were really important to him, and he took the time to sign autographs, take pictures. He never really brushed anybody off. When I first joined Sabbath in 1980, we played some arena, and I'm the new guy in the block back then. And the show, concert's over, and we hung out a bit, and then we left the arena and got in the limo, me and Ronnie, and we go up the hill, get out of the arena, and it was January, like upstate New York, I think we were, and we pull out and get to the gate. They were going to open the gate, and we go back to the hotel, but there were a whole bunch of fans at the gate. Ronnie said, "Stop the car, stop the car." And I'm like, wow. The driver stopped the car. Ronnie got out, started signing autographs and taking pictures. It's because it was cold.
Yeah.
And, they waited, they deserved something. And so I got out too, and, did that as well. And I always remember that, how Ronnie was just totally such a gentleman and loved the fans,
Yeah. And that was amazing. I remember I was a teenager, and he lived in that house in Tarzana, and we got like invited over, and we were hanging out with him and Vivian at the house. I don't know if I was any more than 16 at the time.
Oh, wow.
It was me, a couple of my friends, and again, like who does that? Like it was just like you would never experience that from anybody usually. And he was just so gracious and so, he realized what it was all about and what music was all about.
He did that again later on, a couple of years later, when we did Holy Diver tour. We were in England and playing London, and we finished the show upstairs, and Ronnie, was relaxed. He doesn't leave right away. We like to hang out and have a beer or two, and we were getting ready to leave. Somebody said, "Well, the cars are downstairs. We can go soon." And then they came up and said, "Well, there's a bunch of punters. They call them punters. The fans are down waiting for autographs and stuff, and it's kind of cold out." So Ronnie said, "Bring them in." So they brought him into the Hammersmith Odeon, which is a famous place, and there were about probably 40 kids, fans, and sat them in the front rows. And then we came down, and we all signed autographs, and that's what Ronnie did. That's the kind of guy he was.
I love it.
VIPs, no VIP stuff back then.
Yeah, no meet and greets or any of that.
None of that. No.
What's your favorite memory of the Heaven and Hell days?
Well, it was so many great times, highlights and this and that. It was just nice to get, when they got back together, and we called it Heaven and Hell, that we're playing big places again, big festivals in Europe. And I don't know if we played the Garden. I'm from New York. We played Radio City Music Hall. So there's just a lot of highlights for me, and playing with them. And just playing with Tony, Geezer, and Ronnie again was just, doesn't get much better than that,
I know, right?
Pretty amazing.
And how was their chemistry all together with Ronnie,
at that point, we're all a little older at that point, and it was a really good vibe in the band during Heaven and Hell, and we were having fun musically. It was fantastic, and it was talk of let's do another album, and then let's do another tour. Let's keep going for a while, and nice. It was great. Whereas years before that, there was always, it lasted like 2 years, a year and a half, and then there was some problems and it didn't work out. So at the end, it was great. It's just a shame what happened, how Ronnie got ill. So
big shame. And I think everybody needs to reach out and contribute to the foundation, that so other people can get the help that through this, because cancer, it's a bitch. And
I mean, it's an awful thing, and people, it's pretty popular right now. Let's put it that way.
Yeah,
probably all the junk in the air and the food and the water and all that stuff. So who knows?
Yeah, I'm with you there. It's funny, when we were younger, like, you didn't think about that stuff, and now we get to this stage and it's like, oh, look at the poison they've been putting in our bodies.
Yeah, the latest thing is, like, I don't know, I'm in California, and some days you look up at the sky and it's like a cross playing tic-tac-toe with the chemtrails.
Oh, that's so funny you're saying that, because I just got back from LA, and we were on a walk. I was saying to my friend, I'm like, I've never seen this many chemtrails ever. Like, they're everywhere.
They're everywhere. I spoke to a friend in North Carolina. He goes, yeah, they're here too. And a friend in England, same thing there. So wow. I don't know what they're trying to do, but nobody's saying anything. Like,
right?
Why are you doing this, and what is it for?
Exactly.
It used to be like trying to make it rain and stuff, but I don't think it hasn't rained here. Never rained. So,
right.
Who knows?
So what else would you like to let people know about the release of these packages for Heaven and Hell, and anything else you have coming up that you want to talk about?
Yeah, well, the package is great. Like I said, it's a fantastic package. The pictures, photos, everything is amazing. But it only works if you play it really loud when you get this.
Right? That's the only way.
Works. Then it works. Yeah. And I'm doing. I started something. It just kind of a fluke. I started doing a band put together a band called Sabbath Nights, and this started a couple of years before, where somebody invited me to go play. We're going to play all Sabbath stuff and blah blah blah. I said okay, and I did it, and it was a lot of fun. Then I noticed how the audience was eating it up. We played a lot of Dio Sabbath, some Ozzy Sabbath, some Dio songs, and the audience loved it. So I put something together. I got a killer band. My vocalist is Jim Queen, who's from Buffalo, New York, and he could sing Ronnie. He loves Ronnie. He could sing this stuff without tuning down. It's just amazing. So we got a killer band, and we just we're doing gigs, like not a lot of touring, but we're doing as many gigs as we can. We got some coming up, the Akata Theater in May in Chicago, and then we go to Ohio, Picktown Palooza. It's like a little festival, and then we do upstate New York, Buffalo area. And,
nice.
That's a lot of fun, People love it. We're playing. Get to hear Sign of the Southern Cross and Neon Nights, all that shit, and then we play some Ozzy song, a couple Ozzy Sabbath tunes, War Pigs, and Ozzy song, I Don't Know. We do that, and then some Dio stuff. So it's a great show, So it's a lot of fun. We're not trying to break the band, It's just a lot of fun, and people are enjoying it.
That's the key. It's fun, Like what? Right. Why be in this industry if you're not having fun?
When we made Holy Diver, we were having a ball.
Nice.
It's a new band, and we're all youngsters, and went to Sound City Studios. It was like a club hanging out every night. And we destroyed that place. Just crazy stuff that went on, and we were having fun. And fun makes good music.
It does. Absolutely.
Good music. And then we did Holy Diver. We did the whole album. Wrote the whole album. So
love it. I love hearing stuff like that from musicians that have been musicians for a long time, because there's a lot of complaining that goes on. So I love the freshness of hearing how much fun things are.
Yeah, and we're having fun. We're doing this, and then you don't realize how it affects people. And, then you go on the road and you meet somebody because, man, I was going through a really bad time. And then you guys came out with that album and that song, whatever, Rainbow in the Dark or whatever. It really helped me get through life. And, it got me through the whole thing. And we don't write songs to try to purposely get people feeling better, obviously, because we don't know what's going on with them anyway.
Right.
But when you hear those stories, you go, wow, we're just doing our job.
Right.
Stuff we love to do. It's inside of us, and then you meet people who are so affected by it. You don't realize that,
It's a great feeling, right?
Yeah, it's fantastic. Yeah.
Well, it's fantastic that you've given us the great feeling for all these decades here.
Thank you.
And again, hats off to you for being such a legendary drummer, because it's a lot harder than people think.
You're right. And right now the traveling's harder than anything. Then if you got to fly and stuff, oh God, what a pain.
I know, right?
Yeah, pain in the ass. Yeah.
Well, thanks for keep giving us great music. Everybody needs to go and check out all your new stuff that's going on.
Yeah, go to my website. Yeah, and Sabbath Nights with a K, like nights, neonnights.com. There's some stuff up there, and then Heaven and Hell, and keep it up. Keep it going.
Yeah, funny. I interviewed Jack Black at one of the Bowl for Ronnie's.
Yeah.
And he started singing Neon Nights in the interview. And he was handing me the mic, trying to get me to sing it. I'm like, nope, it's your job. I can't.
Yeah, he's great. He's great. Right? I love School of Rock movie. It was on the other night, and I watched the whole thing. I love that movie.
Yeah, totally. And he's so versatile, and like he was singing it like right off the cuff, like and just having a good time. Again, that's the key here. We all just need to have a good time, and music is the best way to escape all the other bullshit.
That's right. Exactly. Well, music, that it heals. It does a lot of things when you listen to music. If you're not feeling up, you're not feeling great, you put on your favorite album or song and you feel better, a little bit better.
100% best therapy there is.
Yeah.
Well, thanks a lot for your time, and thanks
you.
for being on the Adventures of Pipeman.
All right. Thank you, Pipeman, and see you guys on the road somewhere.
Let's do it.
Hey, this is Vinny Appice from Black Sabbath, Dio, Heaven and Hell, a lot of bands. And you're listening to The Adventures of Pipeman on W4CY Radio.
Thank you for listening to the Adventures of Pipeman on W4CY Radio.